Hello, hello. Boy, my mic is pretty hot today. What indeed is Spencer covering? We are going to be doing some air quotes random encounters for the campaign I'm doing. So, our group was grabbed, drugged, taken to an unknown location. They are completely underground. They are they have been there for an unknown amount of time because every time they are not being done, being used, or made to be a slave or something, they will, the people who are there will simply drug them and put them to sleep, or use a magic wand that they use as well to put them to sleep. A couple of them are elves, so they can't be put to sleep magically, so they use drugs. Uh, so there's just wakeful time and work time and periods of blackness in between. And so they don't really know what's going on. They managed to escape, and they are now going to be working their way through this underground labyrinth. Um, they don't know where they're going at up to this point. What is going on with my calendar? Let's try this again. And so what we're going to do is they're going to be traveling through these underground caverns. Um, what is up with my fantasy grounds today? Looks like my cursor is different. So let's go like this. Let's go boof and boof. There we go. Now my cursor is back on track. Yes. All right, so they have managed to escape, and so what we're doing is we're going through and we're putting in all right, so the way I have this campaign set up is a little different, and by a little I mean a lot different than any other campaign because of the mystery of the date and the time and things like that. Everything I've done in the calendar is in the GM section. Um, so as I was preparing what was happening, I did everything in the calendar section. Now I could have done it as a story entry as well, but I've personally I thought giving it a shot in the calendar was going to be a better idea overall. Um, all right, so the first thing I want to do is catch up within the calendar what's happening. So he allowed them to have a long rest on the first, on the second of flame rule. All right, so I made a mistake, first mistake I've ever made. So let's go with, so what had happened was the party fights back, manages to drop into the webs and down to the floor. that's where we left off. They were were extremely beat up. There was a rock that dropped down in front of them. If you don't know what a rock is, it's a type of um, demon. That lovely critter dropped down in front of them. One of them was unconscious, and several of them had been really hurt. If you look at the party sheet, we can see, you can look at the hit points. They're all one hit away from death. They have no healing. They have no left for the day. They are in bad shape as they escape from this prison. I'm probably going to, so what I'm going to do is, the rock is the last one in the round. I'm just going to have it reset and go up here. There we go. So they're going to have all of their turns to do something. I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these guys because these are all up in the webs above them, except for the gray ooze and the rock. All right, so let's get a better idea. See, this is what's happening. We zoom in a bit. Where's the ooze? Okay, so here's these. What's this? So these are the bad guys. Is that the ooze right there? That's the gray ooze. Okay. They don't see it because it's in the water. All right, so I'm not sure if I can turn that effect off. Oh, here it is. Open. All right, anyway, this is where they are. I'm hoping they're just going to run here and take off. They had scared away the gray ooze. And so if they do enough damage to the rock or do something to just sort of like intimidate it, make it think it's, I'm not sure what kind of spells or anything that they have, but it's weird that I don't have a way of, let me see, shift, let me see, can I, line of sight. There we go. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this weird line of sight here because I don't know. Remove, remove. Just going through and deleting it. I'm not sure how he had whoever it was that did this had this section set up, but it's not what I want. So as you can see, each one turns red, the inside the square, and that's the point it's talking about. So this one's not red, so you select it. Boom. Just going through and getting rid of all this. So I don't have to mess with it. So it's creating an effect I did not want. And once we get done here, boom. By the way, I am anxious to share. I have made changes to my Twitch chat and to my Twitch page. Sort of caught up to with the time, so my schedule is accurate again. On my Twitch page, I've also added some commands to the Twitch chat. All right, so that's close enough. I'm not going to worry about all this weird because as soon as it intersects another line, then it adds another point. So now we can see, now we have a better idea of what's happening with when we play. There we go. All right. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't sure what that is. It's not the one I'm used to seeing, the train feature I'm used to seeing, so I'm not sure what that was, but we've got it now. All right, so they're gonna leave. They're gonna take off. Oh, that's the problem. Is this thing is too big? I was like, why is this? There we go. Not showing up as red. It's because the token is too big. It's only a large creature. All right, so there we go. Now we are cooking with gas. Okay, so once they decide where they're going to leave, they're going to be traveling through these tunnels. And my point is I'm going to have to figure out a way to try to impress upon them the situation that they're in. It's been a number, at least days, they know that. They're dirty. They actually no, they aren't dirty because they keep getting cleaned every time somebody comes to buy a slave. So they're not that dirty, but they're very tired. They're worn out. They're not used to walking and moving as much because they've been sedentary for it's now been almost 2 weeks. They don't know this, but that's why they were forced to do slave labor to keep them active a little bit at least. But beyond their physical health, their mental state, it's dark always, 100% of the time. And people aren't used to that, especially people who don't don't grow up like this. I mean, a dwarf would be different, but these guys are like us. You know, we have sun and moon, sun and dark, light and day, and stuff like that, night and day. And as they travel through these caverns, there's nothing. There's no there's rocks and more rocks and more rocks and more rocks and some fungus every once in a while. And of course, they'll meet creatures and things like that. But as they travel, there's going to be no relief to this oppressive darkness. They're going to be traveling through these caverns. Um, they may travel for 20 minutes, for 2 hours, and hit a point where they just can't go anymore. It just ends. So now they have to turn around and come back for 2 hours and then go to the last place where the cave split and then keep going. Um, it's a very uh, frustrating, very unknown life that they're going to be working with. Um, and so trying to portray that to them um, is a challenge. And so as they go, there are different random encounters and different random tables that we have. So um, here's a story of a man named Brady. All right, so here we go. Crystal clusters. Okay, yeah, good. All right, so what I've done is I re-rolled all this stuff and made it to where, boom, I re-rolled the different encounters and when they got them, when they didn't. So on the first day that they leave, there's not going to be any other encounters. They're going to travel however long they want to travel, which I will track, and then collapse. The next day, they're going to get to a cliff and ladder. I did make here's this. This is what they had to deal with right here. Um, so for this, we're going to go ahead and put a mask. Oh, yeah, we don't need the mask because it's line of sight. So what happens is, well, I'll bring in my person. So since he's not here anymore, we'll do this, and we're going to go to line of sight. So they're going to come upon, they're going to see this cliff. They won't even be able to see the rest of the map, so I don't need to put mask or anything else. As they come upon, they see this towering cliff above them. And they have to figure out how to get up there. And then once they climb it, boom, they get up on the top. See, now they can't see down below. Boom. This looked just like that, or any other section of this travel. I added this in using fancy grounds, and it's in one of my videos. So if you want to know how I did that, you can check out my other videos on that. So that one's done. It's ready to go. Let me get rid of this token. Delete. Boom. So that's this one here. This has all the difficulty check. And it's 2d4 times 10. I thought I had already done that. I didn't write it down though, so I'm going to go ahead and see what it says. See if I'm going to tweak it or not. 20? No, definitely not. Whoa, I didn't want 4. 60. There we go. So it's I come upon a 60-foot face. 60-foot high cliff face. So this is going to be start. I'm just going to have it be start and then end. No encounter. I believe it's every 4 hours, every 3 hours, something like that. So we're going to say it's now 10 o'clock. Again, they don't know any of this, what the times or anything. 14, 18. So if they're traveling for 10 hours a day, it's going to be about noon when they stop. So rest, and I start back up at 20, 30. And then I'm just going to make it a couple hours because obviously it's 2200, so about an hour and a half later, boom. So in this one, they come upon a cave of crystals. What's my line of sight look like? Line of sight. Boom. Throw in my Quaggoth token so we can see what's happening. There we go. Good. We've got line of sight built in. Perfect. Okay. And then on the map we have him. We have Society of Brilliance. So these are just links to the things that I have in the. Tells you what they do. So they're very fragile, and if they bump against them or smash against them, then they explode. And then there's a troglodyte there who's working. That they find. He's broken mold live. Hey bud, mind if I look here? Not at all, sir. Not at all. Welcome. The Absolutely. And if you have questions, let me know. So I have this one all set up and ready to go as well. Just doing some checking. I have these random encounters already pre-rolled and ready to go as my people are traveling through these underground caverns. So I'm just checking and making sure everything is set correctly. They are. So this is day on the 3rd. So now we go to the 4th. We have orc raiders. All right, so we find some orc raiders. All right, so we need to build a map for this. Let's see. I'm just seeing what it gives us for the information for this encounter. Raiders. All right. Group of raiders from the surface looking for gold. Initially hostile, though the clever characters might try bribing them for information. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So I need some sort of map. Can't type much, otherwise I won't get any work done, but I tried to help your average numbers for affiliate, and here I am. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. That is really the only thing I need at this point is number of viewers to go up. Everything else I'm meeting. There's like 4 or 5. I mean, there's like 5 or 6 different requirements. That's the last one I need. Is just the number of viewers per thing. So I appreciate it very much, Mayor Broken Mold Live. All right, so let's see. And I have some new things in the chat. So for example, follow age. If I can remember how to do it. There you go. A couple other cool things in there as well. Just type commands and it'll give you a list. But I'll let you get back to work. I do the same thing myself. Work and lurk, and then it definitely can be distracting. I end up not working while I'm lurking. So you have to be careful. All right, so we need to find a map. So let's go to a couple different ways you can do that. You can go into images and search that way. What I would do is I go down here um, and you can look at like there's the Sword Coast maps. You can look at the tactical maps reincarnated. Um, I also have the very last one I have is Out of the Abyss maps, which is a lot of Underdark stuff. Um, so you can go by sections here. You can also go by assets. So I prefer the assets just because I can see what I'm looking at. Um, we could also make a map. I don't really feel like I'm at the point where I need to make a map yet, just because I have lots to choose from at this point. Um, so let's see what the fantasy grounds. So we've got Abyss maps. I think this is more for like the hellscapes. So I'm not going to worry about that yet. Battle maps, the coastline, crests, interior, token set, mountains, old world, towns, jungles, underground. There we go. So let's take a look and see what kind of tiles we got. Okay. Let's go with cave and see what happens when we do that. Actually, we should have just switched to images first. Because there's a lot of different caves and caverns and stuff, so we're going to switch to images first and then go to cave. All right, so here we go. We got some cave, got outdoor pictures. And now we have ourselves some nice little caves to look at. Bunch of different cave maps. This one's pretty cool. I like that idea. Let's open this up and take a look. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. What about this one? What's that look like? That's an end. Prefer the one that has openings on both sides. All right, keep looking. You're gonna keep looking. I don't think they would have a tables and stuff set up, so we won't worry about that one yet. It's a nice map though, real well done with the cliff face and then the waterfall. Very cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's take a look at the fortified cavern, see what that looks like. There we go. That's a really good choice. I like that one. What about this expansive cave? Nah, don't like this for this particular one. We also have some lava. All right, so I was torn between this one with the bridge and the ruined building, and this one with the crystals again, um, fungus and stuff. I think what I'm going to use, I think we can go with the ruined one. Just make it, it's been a while. It will have been a while at this point since, so what you do is you create image record. Close this out, boom. All right, so the first thing I want to do is make sure I can find it again. So what I do is I like to name the map, because what happens is if I shared it right now, this is considered identified. So it would show up as fortified cavern JPEG, the tactical map incarnate. Okay. So I click in here and I put my name for it, which is just going to be abandoned building. And then if you click this to where it make it unidentified, then what it does is it shows them this. So when the characters see this, like this one, they saw a bird creature. They didn't see the name of rock. So poof, put my link here. Oh, I did it. So here, I'll show you. Get rid of this. All right, so I still have my cursor in here, so I hadn't saved the name. Now that the cursor's out, you'll see. There you go, abandoned building. All right, so here's our map. Let's check out the grid first. So it looks like this map has a grid drawn on the image itself. Not my favorite. That means I'm either gonna have to try to match this grid. But luckily Fantasy Grounds helps with that. So this one actually looks like it's done making each one of these 5 feet. I can go with that. Sure, 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 sure. For sure. Okay, so we're going to leave it the way it is. I am going to change the color of the grid to more of a brownish. I'm going to turn it down just a smidge. I don't like having a big, thick. There we go. So as you zoom in, you can see all the squares. Cool. Let's see if he has line of sight built into this. There is not any line of sight built in. So that's easy enough to do. So we're going to make this bigger on our page. Oh, it is. There is line of sight built in. Okay, so there we go. We don't have to worry about that. Awesome. So we'll go to layers. Now I could add things to this. I could add tokens. I could do um, lots of different things to this. I think the only thing I want to do is change the water. So let's add some water effect to it, shall we? We go to effects. We click add effect. We come down here. Typically, I like the ocean effect for water. That seems to work really well. So now we're going to enable the mask. Right now it's over the entire world. So we're going to enable the mask, and then we're going to reveal. And you can hold down Alt, click, and then just draw my line. Oops, too much. And you don't have to be perfect because, for example, right, you can just add or subtract from what you just drew. So we're going to go ahead and take, I'm not holding Alt, so it's going to be a square, rectangle, whatever. So if I wanted to, I could zoom in and I could fix that. But you know what? I like this. It makes it look like it's reflecting off the water, which is the whole point. So we do the same thing on this side. Alt. We're still revealing the area. And like I said, if you make a mistake, you can just go back, and the button next to reveal area is conceal. So you can just undo anything that you did. There's some treasure down here. I like that. All right, so now we take a look at this and we see you've got movement, you've got, looks like water a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and turn down the distortion a little bit. Take a look at what we're dealing with. I do want some, so let's go with about here. You can also turn down or up the speed. See? So I liked it the way it was. There you go. All right. All right, so there's, I like how they did the lighter areas around the torches. That's cool. Well drawn. What I am going to do is going to go into my paint, add a painting layer. I'm going to add just a little bit of shadow. So we're going to go to Assets, the 2019 map pack has shadows. I believe it's under effects. Let's see, it might be under brushes. Oh, that's why. I had it in the wrong one. All right, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go ahead and just type in shadow. Now, because I have all selected, it's going to show up all my pictures and all my other stuff. What I'm looking for is there is a shade um, for building shadow. Actually, let's do that. Let's just go with that one. It's going to be easier that way. Here we go. So what you do is you take this. I'm in painting. Take the building shadow, slap it in here. Whoa, Control Z. Not sure what I did wrong there. Is my cursor weird again? All right, so grab this. There we go. Boom. All right. That's what you should have done in the first place. Now, this is my calendar. So now we take this. We can turn it. So we'll start with the bottom ones. May as well. So we're going to take this is 1 by 1. So we want it a little bit bigger. So we'll go. You can see it's very small. So we'll go about 3. Start with 2 and see what that looks like. There we go. Boom. Um, all right, 3 is good. So now we're going to go into our color picker and we're going to turn down the opacity to about 120, about 100. There you go, 100 works. We come in and then we're using the stamping tool. We say OK. We make sure we're in our painting layer. And then we just go through and we just start adding this in. And then you can double up a little bit if you want it a little bit darker. Or you can just leave it the way it is. So over here, for example, I do want it a little bit darker because of the ruins, rubble and stuff that's there. And then you can take and hold down Shift and turn it. We're going to turn it sideways. We use Control to make it smaller. We'll add some here. We're going to add some in, just add some here within the rubble. You could even do Shift and turn it a little bit. Just adding a little bit of shade in the rubble. Coming off. There we go. And then we spin it back, holding Shift and turning it. You could also just click the button like I did before. I'm going to go back to Control, make it a little bit bigger again. Boom. Boom. Do it once on the doors. Back in the room, making it a little bit thicker. Just throwing some shade. Rotate it. Then we're going to make it small again. We'll turn it. And then make it small. Turn it. Fill in this little section here. There we go. So now we've got a little bit more shade in the building. Do a little touch up here and there, wherever you want it to be darker. You could also go through and do some of these out here if you wanted to. I don't really care that much. But for example, see, boom, use control, make them smaller, fill in the blanks here. So it just gives your columns and stuff out here a little bit more definition, a little bit more depth to because of the shadows and stuff. And you wouldn't need them over by the other side because there's torches and stuff here. But you could have it. The shadows would be darker over here because of the torches on the bridge would cast deeper shadows. So you can mess around, do stuff like that to give a little bit more definition to your map. I like it. So now we're done messing around with that part of it. So let's go ahead. We can close this off. And let's go ahead and build the encounter. So the party is going to come from the north. There we go. So let's go ahead and add that little detail to this. So whenever you're on a line within a story, or in this case, the calendar, if you hit return while you're on a line with an image or any kind of link at all, it makes another link. So we just hit Control 1 and it puts you back in normal text. Control 2 makes it a chapter heading. So party is coming from top of the map in the middle. So they're coming from here. The orcs are going to be in here. So we pull up our orc encounter. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so I can see a little bit more what's going on. So there are window slits here. So they don't need to set a watch. He's the big boss. He will be sitting here. And then we have these guys. There's going to be a couple sitting here on the rubble. A couple by the big boss, brown nosing. We have 2 left. Let's go ahead and do this randomly. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Basically 40 large squares. So you can just go into your chat, put the // DIE space 1D40. And I'm going to do that twice, so we're going to do 2D40. And we have 25 and 37. Then we're going to roll 2 4-siders to see which square within those. So 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's right there. The other one was a 37 and a 2. So 40, 39, 38, 37. Wow, they're both together. And a 2. Boink. All right, so now you've got your encounter set up. Orcs are orcs. The Eye of Grumsh is a little bit different, so I'll do a quick zoom of what he can do. He has he hits with he has spell casting basically. Guidance, resistance, bless, command, spiritual weapon. Okay, so definitely want to do a spiritual weapon. That's a bonus action. That's a really cool spell. All right. So what? This is CR4. So there's a couple ways you can look at this. One, you can say they are in an underground, so they shouldn't just automatically fight everything they run into. They should learn to run away. Or you can say these are D&D players. They're probably going to fight. Anyway, I don't want them to die. CR4 is a bit much for them. So I'm going to go ahead and remove some of these orcs. We're going to make it, open it up, get rid of those. And now refresh, see what we've got. So now we have 5 orcs to deal with. The orcs have an average of 2 to 15 hit points. Okay, so I'm going to throw some orc bodies in here. Go to my assets. And I believe it's body. It might be dead. I don't remember which, but they are tokens. Let's go enter. Let's see, dead. Wonder if, there we go. Here are my bodies. We've got dead orcs and a headless dead orc. So we're going to throw these over here on the rubble. Make these a little bit bigger, a little larger than life, so we can, there we go, I want him on top. And we're just doing a little bit of a jumbled pile. There we go. So it looks like that they lost 4 of their people. And we'll put a couple wolves. Wolf is a little too big. There we go. Turn it. Alright, so they've got these dead bodies over here. And they're just looking to get back home. They have stool, Sushar. Alright, so that should work. Now what we need is a parcel. So these guys have javelins, great axes. Okay. So we open up the parcels. So I'm just going to throw it into uncategorized because it's a new parcel. I'm just going to make a new category. So if we go here, you come down, you go to add category. Atomic. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, I have some new toys. I'm finally starting to catch up a little bit with Nightbot. Yep. And then I have yeah, see. Got some new toys. Zinlu. Hey, welcome, welcome. Welcome, gentlemen. Those of you who watch my stream regularly, you know I mention Atomic Hero Squad a lot. He's the morning guy, so it's a great way to start your morning. Zinlu has been is also a really good streamer. They're very different. The two of them are what they play and what they do. Zinlu is likes crafting and building and a lot of his stuff is like that. He also has a space one where he's ripping apart ships. Another one where underground where he's running around blasting things, killing things in an attempt to craft stuff. And then there's one where he's on a barren planet, and not barren, but there's no other people, and he's building and making things. So check him out. You'll like Zinlu. So appreciate you guys being here. I have a couple unique things now that I finally caught up to the real world. So, all right, so we have our orcs now. We're making our parcel. So we click here, we go to add a category, and this is going to be, so bring you down to, goes to the bottom. So the group 1 and group 2, edit group, there it is. We don't need 2, we just need 1. This is going to be travel. So they're going to be doing way more travel than they want to. So that's what we're going to call it. Click on it, and that puts you in that category. And now we right click, we make a new item. So this is going to be all the crap that this orc tribe is carrying and has with them. So we're going to go to items. So the orcs have javelins and great axes. So we're going to go great axe. Excuse me. And we're going to throw, boom. We're going to say four of the 5 of them, we're going to say 2 of them are worth something. And then they have javelins. All right, so there's 5. So we're going to say go over here, randomly determine /DIE space 5 D3 minus 1. And that's going to give us a number of 11. So there are a total of 11 javelins. Lots of 3s in there. Pretty high number. All right, so that's there. And then we have hide armor. Let's minimize this for a moment. There we go. So we have some hide armor. Fantasy Grounds is quite the DM addition, Zinlu says. Absolutely. I've been using it for about, I want to say 4 years now. And it's just amazing. And like if you were playing in real life, one person has to buy the books if you're going to be using books at all. But once one person has them, you don't have to. Not everybody at the table has to buy it. Is my point. So because I had the books, all my players have access to my books when we play. So it makes it really nice. Hide armor of resistance. We don't want any magic hide. You know what? Just for fun, I think I am going to give them. Let's see. First of all, what does this do? This is heavy armor. Okay. So I'm going to put layered hides is what one of them is wearing. It's heavy armor. I don't think anybody in a party can. Well, there might be 1 or 2 people, but the armor they have is probably going to be better. But they can always sell it. But I think I'm going to give them coal acid resistance just for fun, because why the heck not? Let's see. This is rare. What does this smoldering hide armor do? This is common. Wisps of harmless, odorless smoke rise from this armor while it is worn. There we go. That's what we're going to give them. Doesn't do anything. It just looks cool. All right, so we have that, and then we're going to have one more just regular hide armor. All right, and then there's a chance that they have a special item. So let's see. Raider leader possessions. We'll look up the table. Just go down here. You just type Raider. Raider leader possessions. That pulls up our table. 1 book equals 1 game. Makes sense. Yep. And of course, there's SRD. I don't really know what SRD stands for, but there's free stuff. You can go online and download PDFs for Dungeons and Dragons. There's magic items, monsters, rule books, and Fantasy Grounds comes with all those for free. So you really don't even have to buy anything except the DM has to have the version of Fantasy Grounds that allows you to run a game, and you can do that monthly. What I did is I started with the monthly subscription, and then within a week, I upgraded to the lifetime one, because that's the cool thing is there's a one-time cost, and you can do it, and it's good for life. And So I paid one time like 4 years ago and never really paid for it again. So it's nice. Broken Mold Live, he went straight to the ultimate. Yep. And I don't think you'll regret that at all because in less than a year you've paid for it and you'll never look back. It's great. None of your players have to have it. None of your players have to buy anything. Just download it, the free version, and they have access to all your stuff. It makes it really nice. All right, so here's our table of what the leader has. So let's give it a roll and see what we get. Drum roll. 19 water orbs. Very nice. 2 water orbs. So we're just going to drag this over to our parcel. If I can find it buried underneath here. Here it is. Boof. All right, and you say, hey, what's a water orb? And I say, hey, they failed at life and didn't tell us what this is. So that's fine. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to go to a very white screen. Water, is it one word or two? Fungus of the Underdark. There it is. It's a fungus. It's a type of fungus that holds water, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Water orb out of the abyss. There we go. Water orb. Okay, so it's a bulbous fungus that grows in shallow water. Can be squeezed like a sponge, yielding a gallon of drinkable water and a pound of edible food. So we will boof. So now that we copied it, go to our items. Go to water. Water orb. Boom. Okay, so they did put it, they just don't have the right link in this table. So let's see if I can override it here. Open it, and we will see what happens if we do this. There we go. So now when this is rolled, it'll give us the link. They just didn't link it this one correctly. So we'll then take water orbs down here. Difference is you can see the capital 2. We will delete this, edit list, delete the item. There we go. So now we have our water orbs. It tells them exactly what it does. Close this. Close this. Close that. Capitalization matters. For me, it does. I'm anal like that. I prefer doing that, making it look good. And the other thing is, I mean, it's one thing if I'm just texting somebody, but if you're doing something like this, the players are going to read and people are going to see. Take the extra half a second to push down the shift button. I mean, really. Just saying. All right, so this is Orc Raiders. And I'm going to start this by going, just making it 1.1. Actually, no, I'm not going to start labeling it that way. I'm going to have to figure out a way of doing the, making a system because to see if, to set it up. So like right now, it's their first time of travel, leaving where they were. But I'll think about that and come up with a system later of how to separate these. Because like I said, they're going to be traveling way more than they ever want to. So now I've got the name here, Orc Raiders. I then grab the link. I can hit enter, put the link right up here. And then what I'm going to do is pull up the map and then zoom out. So you've got your dead bodies there. Da, da, da. They also have a chest that are buried here in the water. So I'm going to say, and if you look at it closely, you see there's gold and stuff. So I'm going to say there's another parcel. And that the orcs came from the south and never even saw that. So I'm going to put another parcel here in just a moment. But I'm going to put the parcel here on the map, and I'm going to put the encounter here on the map as well. So this way, I don't have to look for it. I can find it. I'm also going to put the Eye of Grumsh picture. You're like, Eye of Grumsh, what the heck is that? Eye of Grumsh is an orc. Whoa, I don't see. What? It's Champion of Grumsh. No. Okay, so let's try it this way. Let's go here. Oh, they don't have an actual image of the orc, the Eye of Grumsh. Okay, never mind. I thought I had one. If I really cared, I could look it up. Grumsh is the orc god, yes. Yep, and so he's basically a cleric of Grumsh. Wanton destruction and pillaging are some similar things. Grumsh is one-eyed. I know that, and yep, Grumsh one-eye. The mightiest of the orc deities and their creator. The orcs believe that ancient age gods gathered, and when Grumsh claimed the mountains, that learned that they've been taken by the dwarves. So he tried to get the forest, but then the elves grabbed that. So every time he tried to pick something, it had already been claimed, so the other gods laughed at him. But he grabbed his spear and started destroying the mountains and the forests and the fields and such like that. So he says that from then on, the role of the orcs was to destroy all the other races that would deny them what they wanted. And that's why he pillages and scavenges and destroys things. Anyway, so yes, that is the background of Grumsh, and it's all here in the link with the orc NPC stat. All right, so there we go. So there's our fight. We need to set up our second parcel here. So we do the same thing we just did. We go to parcels. We can, down here it says edit list, so you can delete this. That's the Raider Leader Possessions result table that I had done up. I already took everything from that, so I don't need it. Stop editing the list. Right click to add another item. So this is going to be water treasure. So you can see there's coins. The Orc Raiders would also have coins. I forgot about that. Let's go ahead and go to our tables. Again, in the Dungeon Master's Guide has tables. So we go to table, it's, I believe I can just search it by CR, challenge rating. Nope. Okay, so let's go with treasure. Individual treasure challenge 0 through 4. I'm going to say 3 of them have it. 1, 2, 3. I prefer to put it in the chat. You can have it make its own. We're going to minimize this again. You can have it make its own parcel like it did for the other one, but I prefer just to throw it in here and then add it together. So 18 silver plus 8 is 26, plus 11 is 37 silver. So we open up the Orc Raiders parcel and we click on silver and we put 37. Unlock it first and then put 37. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the hoard, treasure hoard table. So here are the coins that are there. Boom. And here's the regular treasure hoard. Okay, these are all from the Dungeon Master's Guide. So first of all, water treasure, where'd it go? Click, there it is. So I am going to leave this here just because they can't carry this much stuff. So they will probably leave the 1900 copper behind. Silver and 70 gold. And now let's see what else is in the hoard. Click. So you can see it automatically rolls on the subtables as well. So it's rolling all these things with one click of a button. And of course, as my prerogative, I may not have all this stuff here, but they could also just walk right by it, so who knows. All right, so we don't need the coins. I didn't realize, I thought they were separate, but it has both on it. I actually like this one better. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So put 2,500 copper, 900 silver, and 60 gold. And then the cool thing is you can just take this and drag it over. Poof. So they found Chalcedony, a zircon, carnelian. These are all different gems. Bloodstone, another zircon, a citrine, and a chrysoprase. I'm not familiar with the chrysoprase. All right, so there we go. So here's our water treasure. And so again, I'm going to open up the map, link this one to here. Boop. And then on this one, I'm also going to put the parcel here, link it, parcel water treasure. So there you go. Again, I'm using the calendar entry for this because the players don't know the date and the time. I could easily set this up as a story entry as well, using your story over here, and have it all linked that way. But this way, I know that by having it done as a time entry, click in the calendar, it's able to. I'm able to keep better track of what's happening and when. All right, so the day before they started at 20:30. So about 4:30 in the morning is when they'll rest again. So they went through these caves, found the crystals. I'm going to say it takes an hour. 5:30. So about 5:30 is when they're going to rest. So we come over here. We're going to do home. I'm going to open up the encounter because I'm going to have to add a line here. Control 1. And then I'm just going to relink it. Oof, there it is. All right, so at 5:30, they rest. 8.5 hours later, 2 o'clock, 1400. Start travel. And then this was the first encounter I rolled, so it's going to be up to 6, I would say up to 4 hours later. Let's make it half-hour increments. And we'll do 1d12, 4 hours. So at 1800 is when they come across the Orc Raiders. All right, so again, I could put in here any kind of definition, any kind of explanation I wanted to for myself. I could also put in descriptive text for the players that I could link into the chat, things like that. For now, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. So there we go. So thank you so much, folks. If you like this type of stuff, I put a link there for my YouTube. I've got a lot more of these type of videos on explaining Dungeons and Dragons. I also talk about prepping for Starfinder using Fantasy Grounds Unity. I have some Classic, so if you use Fantasy Grounds Classic as well, I have both Starfinder and D&D prep for Classic. A lot of it is actually the same. There are only a few things like the stuff I was doing today with the shadows, line of sight, those type of things you can't do in Classic, but everything else, the calendars, the encounters, all those things, the parcels, all that is exactly the same in Classic. So if you have questions, leave them in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks again to Zenlu and Atomic Hero Squad and Broken Mold Live for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much. And whatever else you do, enjoy the rest of your day.